I think, you know, you have to take responsibility as an individual to get involved. I completely agree with what Anthony was saying about how the system is broken and how it's, you know, it should be easier for people to engage, but it's not at the moment, and that's not something you're going to be able to sort out.
Well, no, of course not.
So I think you have to say as an individual, I am interested. I've lived in Romsey for years. I work in Romsey. I brought up my daughter in Romsey. I care about this place, so I get involved.
I would just have to say, just on that point, if you don't mind, I don't think it's fair to say, you know, you have to. If you care enough, you should get involved, because actually people have got so many things going on in their lives, and it's like, yeah, they would want to get involved, but like, you know, they might not have heard about the consultation in time. You know,
it shouldn't.
That's why I say it's not fair, and so actually basically making a big drastic change completely contingent upon whether or not people can engage in a consultation or not doesn't mean that that should be the deciding factor. There's other factors that should be considered, like the consequences and
the deciding factor was the vote that was taken.
What vote?
The vote that the county council took.
Yes, but they were basing that on the consultation, which was the 72% thing which they had created. Yeah. But the actual statutory consultation had more objectors than opposers, than supporters. But they said, because we have this 72%, we can overrule that one. But there's no legal mechanism. They're within their discretion to do that, you see. And the only reason why it stopped is because we were able to put that to judicial review, because they are the power. Once they decide something, they decide it. That's it. The only thing that can stop it is the courts.
But Jerry Bird was actually misled in that council meeting, because she was told that people who had a blue badge could nominate people who could cross the bridge to visit them and take them places.
Yeah,
you know, so she was misled, because she would have voted against the bridge closing.
Straight away.
Yeah, but their decision had already been taken then. That was weeks before that had actually been changed.
So can I ask you a question? When you see how unpopular that decision is, right, regardless of whether or not you feel it was a fair consultation, even if it was a fair consultation, when you see the results, how can you like sort of stand by it and say that it was okay? Can't you see that maybe we shouldn't do this thing because it's causing such a lot of social upset?
It depends which room you're in.
Well, of
this
course.
room, everyone is in
like I said,
favour of what you're.
No, I agree.
I've been in lots of other rooms where everyone's really
sure, but then doesn't that show that there's
a safer environment? So,
all right.
I think now is the chance, isn't it? Because you're saying, you know, if we put all that, you know, whatever camp you're in, now you're saying, so if you win, if you are successful as a councillor in Romsey, that says something.
I mean, it would only be because people agree with what I said.
But if you're not,
yeah,
would you see that is an actual vote? How
you mean would I drop it?
Well, I mean, it's not about you dropping it. It's like,
how
do you
accept
perceive?
That's a democratic decision.
That is, but at the same time, there are these problems with this the way that these ward elections take place. You only need a few hundred or a dozen or so to win a ward, right? And if you take like a city's worth of council, or the county council, for example, each one of those could have been voted in on various local issues. You bring them together into the county council and infer the fact that you have a majority, so therefore you have a mandate to do what you want, even though you've never actually put your kind of agenda on the ballot for everybody to know about. The people of Romsey and Petersfield were made aware, right, or a group of people were made aware of what was being planned, but nobody else in Cambridge was. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that you can't just say Romsey is going to be this isolated little enclave now, and Mill Road belongs to Romsey. It doesn't. It's part of Cambridge.
It's not just Cambridge, it's the outlying villages, and the people that serve our city had no idea that this was an issue, or that the bridge was planning to close. And the question is the 72% or were consulted, or they happen to know about it. Which group was that? Because I know as a working mum, when I was brought up in Romsey, most people that I know in Romsey had no idea and still have no idea that they are planning to do this. And 72% of people citywide accounts for about 0.03% of the population.
So,
Can I just,
right, yeah.
we bring Rory on, and then there's a chap behind.
Yeah,
Rory.
can I just say, when I heard that 72%, which is kind of why I asked you earlier, I was really shocked that so many people wanted that bridge to close. And then I was really shocked by how many people wanted the congestion charge when that consultation took place. So I started to think about it, and then I realised that it's possible to vote as many times as you like in a consultation. For some reason, known only unto the powers that be, they have left that open to abuse. Now, when you have situations like this, like the congestion charge, where certain groups or individuals could benefit financially from cheating in the consultation, then obviously there's an incentive for that to happen. Now, a friend of mine sent me a video because when the congestion charge was going on, and I started to get worried about this. A fellow that he knew was able to. They filmed him doing multiple submissions from the one computer again and again and again, and they balanced it. To be fair, they balanced it so that it didn't sway the vote one way or the other. But it provided evidence that there were multiple, and I'm talking, he did over 100 on each, right? Now, they're supposed to check those results, to check whether there's any duplication. And when they were asked in the council chamber, they said there was no evidence of any duplication whatsoever, okay? So now either they're not doing their job properly and they're completely inept, or they're covering up the fact that this is taking place. But when we talk about whether or not it's a fair consultation, it's not possible to have a fair consultation. It's open to abuse, and people with a vested interest can submit as many times as they like. They can get their goldfish to do it, their pets to do it. Yeah. It's appalling that decisions of great importance are made on the back of these things, because I tell you what, people like Mill Road for People, look, I think great, good on you for being organised and trying to do what you want to do, but people like Mill Road for People, people like Cam Cycle, people with a vested interest and a following are able to abuse the system. I'm not saying you have, I'm not saying Cam Cycle have, but the fact that it's possible means that all consultations should stop, and any decision made on the back of one should be overruled at this point and should be looked at again. That's my belief.
I think if I may bring it back around to sort of how I could represent the ward, right? What you've heard tonight is just a little sample of what I've been hearing for months and months and months now from lots of people. Okay, and I refute the fact that, or the claim that the current councillors represent the ward, because they've actually tried to silence all of this in favour of this other point of view. Okay, so yes, maybe you could argue there are merits to a consultation process or whatever, but they're not really representing the ward. Okay, and so I'm standing because I've heard all of this for a year now, and it has affected my mind and it's affected my heart, and also I drive up and down here, I use this road and I use Calder's Lane as well. In fact, last time the bridge was closed, I got a ticket. You know, you don't have to live in Romsey to be affected by this. So the point is, if we could stop, you know, we're in danger of kind of descending back into debate and argument again. Just on the point of what I can do for Romsey, it would be to not silence this, and not silence this either. but maybe hopefully get everybody's point of view out so we can start to understand each other.
Can we do a fair consultation because what was it, only 1,000 people? were
It was
consulted?
1,986.
I just looked it up and the population of Romsey in 2021 was 10,000 and over the voting population was 77%.
But not everybody votes in a general election, but the result still stands.
Well, they can't
doesn't
vote.
it?
I know, I'm answering the question, what could I do? I would represent.
1,000 out of potentially 7,000.
2,000, it's nearly 2,000, not
Okay,
1,000.
2,000 out of
Yeah.
potentially
How
rounding
much,
to 24
how much
figures.
budget would you put on contacting every single person who can vote in Romsey?
Well, you just said it's
And make
the
sure-
independent
That should be
choice.
irrelevant, though.
We'll go
Yeah,
for it.
I think
It
it
should
But
be
the money's
irrelevant,
got to
that
come
one.
from somewhere.
No,
It's- yeah, but-
the money's nothing. You've got people making an opinion on something they don't even drive down the road.
Yeah,
But what percentage of a what percentage of a population would you consider
I wouldn't do a consultation.
viable?
I wouldn't. That's
Just
not.
what-
That's.
just
I think, as I was saying, I think that whole
So
method.
how many would you say, out of 8,000, how many people would have to actually
I
put
think
onto a
I think the
consultation to
voting
make it valid?
population-
Can we
But
have
we're not
one
polled.
person
We were not
talking
polled.
at a time?
That's fine.
Yeah.
We were not polled, and that's different.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't,
fine.
you cannot use the example. Sorry, you cannot use an example of people not turning out to vote like it's a poll. We have an electoral poll, and you have that come through your door. With a consultation, we have to stumble across it to know that we're being consulted.
Yeah, but every household
But we're
is
not,
notified.
we're not
But they
notified.
don't necessarily take part.
That's okay, but I
Can we?
wasn't
I've
told
got a
about
point
the
over
congestion
here. I've
charge.
got a
But they
hand
should
over
have
here.